You find yourself in need of a lawyer, and unfortunately, all too often that happens. Call Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shannara.com. Shannara.com.
PGA Championship teeing off on Thursday, just a couple of days away from that. If you're looking for a place to watch it, how about our friends at Twin Peaks? No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference is, they've got everything from tequila to cocktails, an extensive bourbon category, to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls, local craft beers, handcrafted whiskey cocktails, round out an adventurous drink menu second to none. And don't forget about the girls running around with those 29-degree drafts. You can get it all the time, lunch or dinner. Great place to watch PGA Championship. It's Twin Peaks.
All right, so to the NFL, we know the first game now, the opponent. The full schedule release is Wednesday night, but you get all the significant leaks before then. That includes Cowboys and Eagles to start the season on September 4th on Thursday night. Full schedule tomorrow night, but already a betting line on this one. Eagles a 7-point favorite on the Cowboys.
Man, that NFC East gets shoved down our throat with those major TV markets. I saw this, and I'm like, I mean, I know you're going to do the Eagles, and I know the Chiefs had already been shipped out to the Brazil game or wherever, so you can't do Chiefs-Eagles. And I was like, man, Cowboys Eagles.
That's an exciting game.
Oh, you can find so many better games.
Yeah, I do think the Cowboys are going to be much improved this year. You know, my only problem is I don't like divisional games that early. I know you got to play two of them in the year, but I would rather see the out of conference,
out of division,
or AFC, NFC early on.
Yeah. Some of the other opponents we went through them yesterday for the Eagles include a game with Buffalo, but that's on the road. Game with Detroit. I can't remember if that's on the road or at home. The Commanders are a playoff team, but they're a regional, they're a divisional team as well.
I mean, the last couple of years, like last year, we had the incredible Ravens and Chiefs game where, I brought this up yesterday, Brian. You remember Isaiah Likely's toe was on the back line, and they had to review it.
Oh, yeah. It's a fantastic finish.
And then the year before, Detroit beat Kansas City on the road to open the season. So we've had some really, really good openers. I agree more with Dunaway than you on this. I think the Cowboys are going to be much improved. The only thing I don't like, and I do agree, they do force.
Oh, we get so much NFC East on the primetime games. Yeah. And I get it. Look, I mean, it's all those big major media markets. I understand. I know
it's going to be more now. So you think about how good the Commanders are. Yeah. And then with the New York Giants bringing in Russell Wilson.
I don't mind it as much when the NFC East is good. It's when the NFC East is bad. The networks don't say, all right, NFC East sucks, let's show less NFC East. No, they still cram it in.
Welcome in to the Pennant Grace. My name is Emily Grace. This is Ush Sisk. We make up this duo. And we are so happy to have you, Braves Country, to talk about the Atlanta Braves on this beautiful Tuesday here in Birmingham.
Beautiful.
Actually, it's kind of been rainy the last couple of days.
It's not that beautiful.
Now that I say that. But you know what is beautiful? Rowback.com.
Rowback.com is beautiful. I'm wearing Rowback today. Tomorrow is the Regions Tradition Pro-Am where EG and I will be in attendance. So if you are there, make sure you we want to see you and say hello. I'll be in Rowback then too. I've already planned tomorrow's outfit. Outfit of the day, Tim. I've already planned it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Sounds very exciting. See, my thing with Rowback is I like deals. Can you get me a deal on Rowback?
Glad you mentioned it.
So glad you asked.
I'm really glad you said that. Go to Rowback.com and fill up your cart. Go through the whole length and breadth of it. Pants, shorts, tops, hats, quarter zips, hoodies,
pullovers.
And on your first order, enter code PG20 at checkout, and it's going to save you 20% off of the entire order. Rowback.com, code PG20, Tim.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said 20%. That's too much. It's no way it's 20%.
Believe it or not, we've gotten that reaction online. It's 20%.
It really
PG20.
is. It's crazy.
Wow.
Can I give you guys a little inside baseball on like how to use that code really well?
Please.
If it's not your first order, perhaps consider using another email. And you might get a little more bang for your buck. Maybe your wife's email.
Boy, that is inside baseball. I don't know if that's against the rules or not, but we break rules sometimes on this show.
We have to. All right, let's get into today's show. We're coming off another walk-off win for the Braves last night. Alex Verdugo continues to show us just how valuable he is.
Whether it's a win or a loss, at this point, all we know is it's going to be one run difference.
Yeah.
That's the key. They're either going to win by a run or they're going to lose by a run. And I was fully expecting a 10th inning at least a 10th inning, and obviously we didn't have that. The Braves walk it off in the bottom of the 9th. And our leadoff guy, Alex Verdugo, gets to wear the double bubble bucket crown.
I love how we were talking about this last night. Baseball is a game and a sport of lots of quirks.
Quirks is a good way to put it.
Traditions that are born seemingly overnight. And it's so fun because I feel like the Braves have had these little traditions, whether it was Jock Peterson's pearls,
Snip Bear,
the umbrella back to Josh Donaldson. That was a pull.
We don't talk enough about the umbrella. I loved the umbrella.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Let us know what your favorite Braves little tradition has been.
We got that. We had.
That one. The swords.
We had the swords. What was the other thing they used to do on the base path when they would get a hit? There was another celebration.
There was something, and then the bullpen too. They would do They had that little thing on a stick that they'd bring out. The tomahawk.
Yeah.
Anyways, the latest is this double bubble crown.
Yeah.
And it is so fun. I'm waiting. I feel like it's going to happen in the next couple of days for the camera crew to pan out into Truist, and you're going to start seeing people wearing the double bubble hats.
I think it's a good idea.
It's very accessible for us.
We're going to come up with something like that for the Pennant Grace, but we also have to determine what warrants, wearing it. Like, pulling out some type of major stat or something, or just making a really good point, whatever it is. But yeah, I like it.
I do too. Smuff says it was mix it up. Remember? Mix it up.
Mix it up.
That was the big one. I love that. That was when we won the World Series. That was the tradition.
Yeah.
But the origins of this, so Michael Harris was the one that kind of got this thing going. And he put it on Drake Baldwin's head after that walk-off. And now I'm wondering, is it reserved for walk-off wins, or will we see this elsewhere?
Feels like a walk-off thing to me, but I don't know.
And do they also just have this empty one at the ready? Like, I have a lot of questions. Is it the same one?
Yeah, I don't know.
I wish we could just text them and ask them.
So many questions. Yeah, so many questions. The good news, the best news, even greater than a bubblegum crown, is they get the win. And that's so important. You take 3 of 4 from Cincinnati.
Right.
Which felt really good about that. Again, as we talked, Red's a middle-of-the-road team. You took 3 or 4 out of them. That is a great thing. Look, Pittsburgh was an absolute disaster. I'm not going to, we are as much homers as we are. It's a no-spin zone. It's a disaster. Pittsburgh is terrible. They are a terrible team. And it doesn't matter if you're on the road in Pittsburgh, because you're playing in a very beautiful, but very empty ballpark. To lose 2 of 3 and to do it in the way that they did, and we're going to get into why they lost that series later on and some of the issues that they're having, but you really need to bounce back. Thursday, when we looked at May, you and I both had this series highlighted.
We did.
4-game series at home against the Nationals, a division foe. This is the chance for the Braves to make up ground and put distance between them as they start to try to climb those.
Or even just get to 500.
Even to get to 500, which is, they keep getting to that point and they keep failing to do so. So you take 3 or 4 from the Reds, only 1 of 3 from the Pirates. 4-3 win last night starts the series off right. Tonight, game 2. Who's on the mound for Washington? We talked about this Thursday as well. Our old pal. Don't
friend.
call him Mike. Michael Soroka, who is 0-2 with a hefty 7.20 ERA, taking on the special Spencer Schwellenbach, who's 1-3 with a 3.61. Game 3, Mitchell Parker, who's 3-3 with a 3.97, takes on Bryce Elder, who's playing very well, 2-2 with a 4.97. And then game 4, and we got a conflict here.
We do? What is our conflict?
It's at 11:15 Central Time, first pitch.
Maybe.
What happens on Thursdays at 12:15, everyone?
The Pennant Grace.
The Pennant Grace.
Should we
That is Trevor Williams, by the way, who's 2-4 with a 5.88 against A.J. Smith-Shawver, coming off a couple of really good starts. He's 2-2 with a 2.76. I don't know how we do that, but we'll figure out a way.
We will. We'll definitely be on at 12:15. Whether that is us doing a watch along, that might be the play there.
That might be kind of fun. We've not really done that. That would be fun.
No, I say that's what we do. Obviously, we won't be able to show it on YouTube, but kind of watch along with you guys for a couple minutes, discuss what we're seeing, kind of like we're all watching together. I like that. Let's just plan to do that.
So last night was great because it's a win. Verdugo, you get that great clutch moment.
Yeah.
Michael Harris II, who even though, and you brought this up last week, the good thing about Mike, even when he struggles offensively, dynamite in center field, he had a absolute all-timer last night.
It was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely incredible play. Wasn't all great.
No.
And that's where we get to my friend of the show, Morgan Wright's favorite player, Raciel Iglesias, who struggled again. Raciel is at 6.06 ERA, and that's in 16.1 innings pitched so far this season.
Now
He's a 294, 2.94 career ERA. Last year, where he was absolutely incredible, 1.95 ERA for 2024. 1.94, 1.95, 6.06. Big difference. And, what is going on?
I don't know.
Iglesias?
And last night it wasn't all Iglesias. However, it was a familiar scene. I don't know, when you're coming off a season how he had last year where he was so dominant, you expect, and we've mentioned this with Chris Sale, you expect a bit of a drop-off. But it just seems like he is not finding his command. He's not finding his stuff.
Yeah, not a velocity issue, but I think someone may hate that. Smuff, great point. Raciel hates tie games.
He does.
Also puts in there to get some hot dogs. That would be actually really fun. I could eat a hot dog at 12:15 easy, or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 hot dogs.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
So someone just came in the studio.
She's actually never seen the show, and I don't know if she's aware that we do a show, but my wife, Megan, just walked into the Disrupt Media
so
Studios.
awesome.
So that's
We have a
pretty
big
deal.
glass wall
It's
to
a
our
very,
left.
very, very big deal. So
That's so fun.
got me all flustered. So, yeah, he
Or
does
she's
hate tie
blushing.
games. And the Braves, and Braves are undefeated in extra innings.
Yeah.
So it goes to extras. You feel good. They Brandon Golden called him last night, Cardiac Kids, do it again. You see that this team is not scared of being in tight situations.
No.
But if Raciel continues to struggle, and I'm interested in what the chat has to say about this as well, what do you do in that closer role? Could you see Daysbel Hernandez in that role?
Yes and no. I think you'll have to do something eventually because it's proving right now not to be a good fit, if you will. But I don't know. That's a good question. I'm curious what you guys have to say about it.
And let me clarify. That does not mean you cutting
Yes,
Raciel
yeah,
Iglesias.
yeah.
I'm just saying if you change the bullpen a little bit as far as their placement,
That's not a bad
I could
thing.
see Daysbel getting a chance to be a closer.
Yeah. And I don't think that would be a bad thing. Willie says, do you think Daysbel gets some run in the 9th? Does Raciel contract and history have an influence on how long his leash is?
Yeah, Willie right there with me. Yes, I do think that there's a chance if he continues to struggle. He being Iglesias, and does his contract and history have an influence on how long his leash is? Yes, and he's earned it. He has earned that leash.
Yeah.
So I do think the answer to both of those questions is yes.
Smith
That's what I
says Daysbel or give Kimbrel a look if he's doing anything decent in AAA.
We'll see. So Kimbrel is in the minors.
I'd love.
Spencer Strider is about to be pitching. And there's another familiar face back.
He's back.
Face of the franchise, Ronald Acuna Jr. begins a rehab assignment today as part of the Florida Complex Rookie League.
Yep.
And had you asked me before today if I knew what the Florida Complex Rookie League is, I would have sadly said no.
I was not familiar either. Now, there is, some fine print here. He has to report back to the Braves how he is feeling, and then they will make a decision projecting June 1st from what I saw.
Okay.
Now, I just want to mention something, Gush. Who had June as Ronnie's return?
That would be you, but it ain't over till it's over, sweetheart.
Okay.
So let's see, Tim, what happens. Let's let this play out. We'll see. I think there's a chance he could still come back in the month of May.
I don't think so.
I know Spencer Strider will be back, and I think he'll be back when we play Washington again
second time.
in Washington.
Yeah, we talked about that last night. Now we're on the discussion of Spencer Strider. Last night we were watching the game. We were talking about how, with Strider returning, there's a possibility of a 6-man rotation.
Yeah.
Let's kind of break that down. What our thoughts are on that.
I think it's a good idea, especially as you go through a stretch where you're not having days off. I think it's smart
Get more rest in.
to get more rest in and allow the rotation if you have 6 guys who are pitching well, why would you not do that?
No, and I think one of the key parts of what you said is when you're going through a stretch with not a lot of days off.
Yeah.
The last thing the Braves need is any sort of injury, especially the pitching staff who has been so effective recently, especially that starting pitching. The offense been lagging pretty substantially, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I think when you have those 6 options, you're giving guys a chance to recover a little better.
Yeah.
You're giving guys a chance to, reevaluate some things. And I don't hate it.
I don't hate it at all. I think it's a good idea. I like it.
You guys in the chat are really talking today. We love it.
Yeah, very good. So we'll see. We'll see. A lot depends on how you continue to do in this series as well. Big stretch coming ahead.
And before we move on from pitching, I do want to highlight what Robert says in the chat. Daysbell deserves a shot. Iglesias has so many blown saves. Last night, Iglesias actually did okay, but Nick Allen.
Yeah.
That was true, too. You know, and that's why I said it wasn't all Iglesias, but there was that, element, of course, that he wasn't 100%.
Right. So.
All that to say.
Brings us to our offense.
Yeah.
So if we look at, again, the team overall playing well, winning record over their last, month, a little plus a month and what, a week?
Yeah.
5 weeks. But they still have not been able to get to 500.
No.
And so we're looking at, okay, what is going well? What is, going wrong? Stop me if you've heard this, because shades of 2024 and what we're about to talk about. But let's talk about the offense. And we're going to look at, a lot of times we'll go last 7 games on this show. We're going to look at the last 15.
15.
So we're going to look at where guys are right now and what they're doing. I think, should we bring Megan in for this segment? Yeah.
She's saying no.
There's a spot right there with a microphone. You can just sit there and look pretty, and if you have something to share, you can share it. There's a seat waiting for you if you want to come in and listen to it.
She's coming in. Okay, I'm also being told that our description, our title, we are not talking about Ryan Williams today. This is the Braves, in case you checked in.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on
that's
there.
Okay. That's okay.
But no, we are not.
Hello, Megan.
So expert analysis coming our way from Megan Scott Sisk, I'm sure. So we'll start here with the catcher position. So this is, again, last 15 games. And I'm going to give 3 stats. You could go a lot of different ways with this. We're going to look at batting average, hits, and home runs. Braves are a home run hitting team. That's a vital part of their success. So that's where we're going to look at. Megan, are you okay with this so far?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Speaking to the microphone, sweetheart. Okay. It's a professional show.
This is literally like my favorite thing that's happened on this show.
All right. This is feels like last night in my living room. All right. We'll start with Drake Baldwin, who's really impressed. And the numbers, are loud here. He's batting .394 with 13 hits and 3 home runs in the last 15 games. Very impressive.
Very impressive.
His counterpart, Sean Murphy, also playing pretty well, batting .250, 13 hits as well, and he has 2 home runs. Everything sounds pretty good so far. Would everybody agree?
Also very impressive.
Yes.
Megan, it's not going to last. Ozzie Albies, my mother's favorite player.
My mom's favorite player, too.
Last 15 games, 150. Batting 150. He's got 9 hits. He has 1 home run. Ozzie is really
struggling. And that was why it was so interesting over the weekend when they had him at that leadoff spot.
Perplexing.
I don't really understand that.
Yeah.
If you guys have a thought or opinion on it, let us know. I'm sure you do.
We talked at length last week about shortstop Nick Allen.
Yes.
Who bats it usually in the 9th slot. Maybe has batted in the 9th slot his entire run here in Atlanta. Batting .261 with 12 hits. Now, he doesn't hit home runs. He's not a power guy.
That's okay.
.261 with 12 hits. In your 9-hole, I'll take all day.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
Matt Olson, only batting .218. Not good. 12 hits on that span, though, and 3 home runs. We know the power he has. He also has a lot of those that he has a lot of those warning track shots.
He's one of the most unlucky hitters I've ever seen, in my opinion.
I made a strong case last week that the MVP of the team and the best third baseman in Major League Baseball is Austin Riley. In his last 15 games, he's batting .274 with 17 hits. That's a high so far, what we said. With 2 home runs, Austin Riley continues to play well.
And that's not a shock. We've talked about it. And you really opened my eyes last week when you started going through different statistics.
Opened my own eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have guessed that he would have ranked that highly in all of those categories.
Right.
To be number 1 in all those categories.
I would also like to add, in my professional opinion, he's not bad to look at.
So you heard that. That's pretty good. So Austin Riley, handsome, looks nothing like me, by the way. Nothing.
You guys have
So much
similar
taller,
eye
full head of
color.
hair.
Yeah.
No one's.
There's some
no
similarities
one
there.
can tell
I'm
what
sure
color.
if he grew a beard, you would be identical twins.
No one can tell what color my eyes are. My eyes are too beady,
okay.
so no one knows. Dan Ugla. Dan
Dan
Ugla,
Ugla.
former Braves second
I
baseman.
remember
Dan
him.
Ugla was Megan's
Ooh,
favorite.
Yes.
She
Yeah.
swooned over those Popeye
Swooned.
forearms of Dan Ugla.
Which you have, by the way.
I would not go that far. You've been blinded by love. So the aforementioned Michael Harris II, only batting .203, but 12 hits. He does not have any home runs in the last 15 games. Do need more offensively from your birthday buddy.
Of course.
Alex Verdugo, again, 246, 15 hits. He's not a home run guy either. Doesn't have home runs, but he's batting pretty close now to his career average. I think he's more like in the 270s as far as his career average, but we continue to be very happy with what we're getting from Alex Verdugo, especially in light of what we're paying for Alex Verdugo.
Of course. I think this is going to be another one of those players that we look at, in the grand scheme of things as a pickup that was huge for this season. Now, I don't know what his future is with the Braves long term, but for right now, it's very good.
Next up, Eli White, who is, to me, been the of all the acquisitions, Eli White's been
Your favorite?
my favorite.
Okay.
He's batting .291. Doesn't have home runs, but he has 16 hits. That's second only to Riley in the span at 17. So 16 hits, .291 for Eli White. Second best batting average behind Drake Baldwin. And then Marcell Ozuna, only batting .218, had the home run last night. 12
Deep
hits.
home run.
Marcell is streaky. The good thing about Marcell, and I'm laughing at Smuff's line, comparing me and either Austin Riley or Dan Ugly, you're both Caucasian. That is true. I'll grant you that one, Smuff. The good thing about Marcell is, the good and bad. The low points can last a long time, but usually when he gets hot, he'll
He's
stay hot for a
consistent.
good long while.
It feels like he's able to, be very consistent, and it's almost like we don't notice those lows as much because, like you said, he stays here.
Yeah,
but
I still think he's the best pure hitter on the team.
Agreed.
But we're going to need more. So, who do we need more from?
Michael Harris.
Number one is Ozzie Albies.
Ozzie Albies, yes.
We need a little more from Michael. Need a little more from Matt Olson. And need a little more from Marcell. That's, Ozzie can fluctuate some, but, those are heart of the lineup type guys.
Right. And I do want to give this stat too to kind of paint this bigger picture. So right now the Braves have set a record in the MLB. So they are alternating 1-run losses with 1-run wins for 7 straight games. All 3 1-run losses in this stretch have come when the Braves have scored 3 runs or fewer.
Yeah. Never happened before.
No, that's...
How long's baseball been around?
Oh, so long. I love baseball statisticians because they are they know everything. They keep track of everything.
The uniforms were wool. That's how long baseball's been around. And they tied them.
Like little lace, they laced them up.
Yeah, it almost like a pirate shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did.
And teeny tiny little hats and,
And their gloves were so different.
Yeah. It's been around a long time. So anytime you do something that's never been done before, that is a good thing. So let's see how we do against our old pal, Michael Soroka.
Michael Soroka, not
tonight.
Mike.
Taking on Spencer Schwellenbach. 6:15 first pitch. You did not get the sweep from Cincinnati, and obviously I was greedy, wanted that sweep in Pittsburgh. You didn't even win the series.
No.
Boy, a sweep would go a long way.
You guys know I love a sweep. I want the sweep. I think it's very doable, and like we've been saying, this is a series to gain some ground. But I'm not even going to go that far. I'm looking at tonight's game. Get to 500.
Yes.
Get there, and I feel like that will be a leap that this team needs to take, and I'm excited to see what comes on the back end of that.
Megan, what would you like to see from the Atlanta Braves right now?
A sweep, of course.
Of course.
Of course. If you were to say, not based on most handsome necessarily, but if you were to say your all-time favorite Brave, who would it be?
Freddie.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman, yeah.
He's a good one.
Can't beat old Freddie.
No.
Yeah.
My heart is broken that he's
I know.
with
in LA.
our arch nemesis.
Took
But maybe
our
he'll be
hearts.
back.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I hope so. That'd be great.
This
So-
was arguably my favorite episode of the Pennant Grace because
Wow.
of Megan's.
Oh, wow.
And I missed the
presence.
whole black
I
memo.
know.
Back in
memo.
black.
It's
Black
raining
magic,
outside,
Tim.
So I had to throw it on.
Tim Melton behind the glass, by the way, dressed as if he will be headlining Lollapalooza or playing bass for Soundgarden, perhaps.
Just because you're hurt doesn't mean you have to hurt others.
Well, it's not an insult. It's just, I got a lot of grunge vibes coming.
Yeah, we did get
which was a
grunge.
great era. That was my high school years. I love that music.
I was told this is my Ice Cube shirt.
Oh, got
Oh.
it.
Yeah,
Good.
this is my
Okay.
Ice Cube shirt.
Gotcha. Scott Forster back there by chance?
No, he's not.
Okay, so we want to give a shout out Scott Forster, his daughter playing in the state championship later this afternoon in softball for the Moody Blue Devils. So go Haley, go Moody. None better than Scott Forster.
Agreed.
Helps make the show happen. So be pulling for them for sure.
All right, that is going to do it for today's show. We'll keep you guys updated. We'll still plan to be on at 12:15 on Thursday, assuming it'll be a watch-along kind of format.
With hot dogs.
With hot dogs. And maybe, whatever else we can find on a Thursday at 12:15 to watch the Braves game. But we want to do it with you guys, so make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are following us on social media at the Pennant Grace so you never miss what we're up to. And with that, what code do they need to use at checkout?
PG20. Go to roback.com, enter code PG20, and save 20% off your entire first order.
All right, guys. Until next time, Megan, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All righty, that'll do it. See you next time.